was a way to show respect to the audience and respect your own business. It was a way to protect it.
And I'm Kayfabe Avenue, and I'm Kayfabe Focus.
It's Kayfabe Avenue. Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks. I am Kayfabe AJ.
And I'm E.A.
And this is Kayfabe Avenue, and this is the Survivor Series review show. So, one of the big fours.
Yes, sir.
Every year I kind of been looking forward to Survivor Series. I've been enjoying them back to back. They, for the most part, in my opinion, they've been home runs. Every year, I felt like we did a prediction show, so go check that out. A lot of what we said kind of did pan out in a lot of situations.
Yeah,
Some happened, but maybe had a little twist here and there. So definitely go check that. Compare to what actually happened. But we start out with a battle royal, and I caught it halfway. This was on the pre-show. This pay-per-view, usually Survivor Series is about like 7 hours at this point. They treat it like WrestleMania. Because of COVID, they've been scaling some of their big pay-per-views back. So this pay-per-view was the same thing. So this was actually, a good 3-4 hours. Not much on the pre-show besides the battle royal, but I did get into it midway, and there was probably about 6-7 people left in the overall thing. But when I did get into it, I definitely saw Damian Mysterio holding his own, doing his thing.
yeah, Dominic.
When they knocked Miz out the ring, and just the whole build up to that finish, which had Dominic pretty much eliminating seemingly everyone. He's about to celebrate. So when Miz got kicked out, supposedly he got thrown over the top, but hung on, was like on the apron.
Yeah.
When he went to go kick him, he rolled back in real quick, and then
he rolled out the ring.
He drop kicked him. He did like a baseball slide, drop kicked him out to the ring, but since he already rolled his shoulder back into the ring, that didn't count as an over the top elimination.
Yeah.
Back in, snuck a win, throwing Dominic Mysterio over. Now I'm not sure if the Battle Royal had any
that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, was this for something? Like,
or was this for something, a spot or something?
I didn't get that. Like, and I saw the whole battle royal. I thought Dominic Mysterio had a great showing. Chad Gable had a great showing. Curtis Alexander had a great showing. He was in it for a little while. Sheldon was in it. But that was the only thing. I was like, okay, there's just a random battle royal that they just threw on the pre-show. Like, well, whatever, but.
Yeah, I mean, what it felt like was just like everybody who didn't make it,
just put them on
the main card. I guess they just threw them all together just so they, could. I was worried about how this show was going to pan out too, because, with COVID, you can't even have too many people in the ring.
Right.
So, I mean, they kind of, for the most part, forgot about, I guess, any regulations for that tonight, because there was a lot of people in the ring.
I mean, if they're doing it safe, they getting tested, then it shouldn't be a problem.
Hopefully, I mean, WWE has slipped up in
a couple times, but I hope they.
And,
you know what I mean? So I'm not thinking like that.
COVID-19.
I just want matches to mean something. Like, I don't want you to just they don't have nothing to do, so let's just put them all in there together for the fuck of it. Like, that's like, to me, that's lazy booking.
And that's what the pre-show felt like. Just let's just throw them together. People from Raw, people from SmackDown. It just felt like the people who didn't have an initial spot. They're getting a little shot, a little chance at spotlight at Survivor Series. I had a decent finish, so I won't complain too much. And anytime my boy Miz shines, I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know, to continue building on the fact that Dominic Mysterio is, you know, a fresh talent, up and coming through the ranks, they showcased him in a good light.
Right. So I'm not complaining too much. It was decent for what it was. I just don't know. Like maybe that just counted on the scoreboard because Miz won or something. I don't know if you know what I mean. It didn't mean nothing to me, but you know what I mean. It was dope opener. Can't get too mad.
Yeah, so I wouldn't give it a rating because one is on the pre-show. Usually they make it clear that pre-show matches don't count towards Survivor Series wins, anything like that. So
All right.
I
So
won't rate it, but
I
I
didn't
did
even
like
know
the
that.
ending. I did like what they did concerning Miz and Damien.
But Dominic
So,
and
excuse me,
Chad
Dominic.
Gable
Calling him Damien, you should have corrected me.
and
Dominic
Wallet,
Mysterio.
Dominic and Chad Gable, they finally giving Chad Gable a look now, like he's looking serious. And they had a great show in them too. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
Like
I did see that.
that was a great back and forth they
Cable hit
had.
a couple German suplexes on Dominic. So
They had a dope back and forth. So I like that. You know what I mean? And at least it's some new people that, you know what I mean? Like, well, not Chad is not new, but Dominic is new. But Chad, now that he's in his serious bag now, they finally giving him burn to really showcase his talent all over again and reintroduce him like, yo, I'm gonna see he's a serious contender. So that's what I did like the most about that towards that ending. Like them two they were in there for like a good 5 minutes before, you know what I mean, the situation happened.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many minutes of the battle royal I missed, but I feel like I caught the majority of that Dominic versus Gable.
Yeah.
Their little you know, their little.
And I wouldn't mind really seeing that in a one-on-one right now. Like that was they did their
And
thing.
that's possible. They both on SmackDown, and that was a good way to probably jumpstart a rivalry too. And then
Yeah, I won't
we
be
still
mad.
have, as far as Gable goes, we still have the looming thing with Otis and him possibly recruiting Otis, you know, to be a part of
to his team. Yeah.
his team. So we'll see coming from that. You know, like I said, I wouldn't grade it off of the sole fact it's the pre-show. They go out their way almost every year to make sure like people don't count pre-show wins towards a Survivor Series win. But that was another thing though. They really didn't emphasize in this Survivor Series, you know, the wins. They wasn't counting the matches. If you,
they will count the wins on who's winning, right? They did.
yeah, so it felt like this year was just like, you know what, Raw versus SmackDown. We're not gonna emphasize on, you know,
who wins
the brand warfare this year. You know, it didn't hurt the pay-per-view because overall I enjoyed Survivor Series. Had a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I noticed that they didn't rely on the tallying. You know, I have a tally because I was, you know, taking notes.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. But let's get right into it. The first match of Survivor Series to open, which I was actually surprised started the show, the men's Survivor Series match, Raw versus SmackDown. For Raw, we had AJ Styles, we had Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, and Sheamus. On SmackDown, we had Jey Uso, we had Baron Corbin, we had Otis, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens. So, you know, I thought that was gonna be the marquee Survivor Series match. I thought that was gonna be.
Yeah, that should have been like.
Obviously, I thought the women. No knock on them. I enjoyed
that's
that.
Supposed to be under the main event, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I thought.
Like that's supposed to be like before the main event type match.
Not only that, the results of this match, the way they won, this hasn't been done since 2006. So do the math.
Yo,
you know, it's a historic. This is gonna be looked back at as an example of a standout Survivor Series match. But I had a few notes on this because
overall, I thought the match was dope. The way they were transitioning in and out, the shit talking between both teams. I liked, like, you know what I mean? They were still arguing with AJ like you ain't no captain or nothing, and then but then on the other side, they were always taking quick huddles.
We spoke about that too. We spoke about that on a prediction show, and you was like, I feel like they're not gonna be a good team, and I said it. They already ran through their beef the entire
so
month. So I feel like by the time we get to Survivor Series, they're actually gonna put it together, and that's exactly what they did. And on
They
the
were
other
still kind of
SmackDown,
beefing. They were kind of still just shitting on AJ though. Like they wasn't beefing
yeah,
the
yeah.
up. It was just AJ like, yo, shut up, yo, like you the little
So
one. Like I mean, but that's what I like.
we had kind of a dream match situation, especially with Jay Uso rising in the ranks recently. We have AJ Styles versus Jay Uso starting, and Jay Uso is fucking on fire.
Yeah,
Like he's been giving some of the best matches on SmackDown the past couple weeks, and in his personal solo career, the best matches he's ever had. So
and the stories he's telling, like in-ring psychology is on another level now, and that's definitely when his brother finally does come back, they're gonna be, you know what I mean?
He needs to be on the same wave. In my opinion, he needs to be on the same wave. I don't want him to be the reason why somebody checks Roman. I want him to have to get pulled into the situation. My brother's trapped in this. My cousin's the head of the table, tribal chief.
Yeah.
So I gotta fall in line. I feel like Jimmy and Jay would do better career wise, just falling in line to the tribal chief because it's working wonders for Jay.
But let it build like it's been doing. Like we'll get later to a segment that happened, but
So
let it build.
Shout out the Samoan drop that Jay Uso did in this match. Like I put it that fucking Samoan drop. I put him in my notes. Go out your way to see this match. It was, even though it was a slaughter at the end. I want to shout out Otis just for being so fucking funny in this match.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even him going on his way and doing stupid shit. It's what he's saying and the way he takes moves.
Yeah.
And his reactions to things. Yo, he just had me laughing the entire match.
I gotta give him props on something else. The back and forth him and Keith Lee had was kind of dope. Like they both like wrestled a little bit.
Yeah, it was like
at the beginning, it was
like to say WWE, the movable force meeting the immovable object, the irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
When they both was face to face, they did like a quick stalemate. I remember this vividly, and then like everybody bum rushed the ring or something, and it got into a little quick melee, and then Otis came back and he finally did pick up Keith Lee and dropped him. And got one on him, and I was like, that was fire. So we got to shout out Otis for getting the one over Keith Lee.
I definitely do have that in the notes because I structured it as I went through the match.
Yeah.
Shout out to Otis. The next part of the match that I had to write down was Seth Rollins. Asked Kevin Owens to tag himself in. Like I already knew Rollins was up to no good because he was doing his pissed off. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not reacting to nothing. Just straight face the entire time. Like, okay, Rollins is back. It says I'm pissed off.
You know what that was.
Nobody.
Nah, you know what that was.
Gets the tag for Kevin Owens, and then sacrifices himself. Tells his team is for the greater good. Let's who was it? That's Sheamus. Let's Sheamus.
Yo, he kicked his head all the way to the stands, bro. He hit him hard too. He hit him hard.
He even did the whole wind up, like if he was in the moment, like, "Word, you gonna give me this free shot?"
Bro kicked him to the next.
Kicked the hell out of him. Out goes Rollins. I think I know what you was alluding to. They're probably gonna write off Seth Rollins.
Not even that. There was a because I was reading. Everybody was saying it. He announced publicly multiple times from what I'm hearing people saying that he never wants to work with Matt Riddle because a couple years ago, Matt Riddle's wife on Instagram disrespected Becky Lynch or something like that. Like they got into a spat, and he said in a couple interviews that he's never going to work with Matt Riddle at all. So a lot of people were saying that. I won't this is my take on it from what I was hearing. This is my personal take on it. Seth Rollins, I'm not saying he's not that type of person at all, even though, that they were saying that he did ask for time off. He's going to go be with his wife for a couple months. He's probably going to be back by the Rumble. That also it's a true fact.
Revealed her, pregnancy pictures they took.
Yeah,
so he looks like she's ready to go at any moment.
Yeah, and
Becky Lynch.
And they said that last week he asked for some time off, and they granted it him. They said, "All right, do this match, and this will be a match." And then, okay, so it could go both ways, but I don't see Seth Rollins being like that. Like he always work, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just have some words with him behind the locker room or something. Shoot the 5 if you got to, get that off your chest. But this is your money. But maybe that's just the way they probably thought about it, or they wrote it, since he vividly said I adamant I'm not working with Matt Riddle ever. So we don't know if that's what it is. I won't put it past them, but I feel like you could at least done something. Matt Riddle wasn't even in the ring. It was Sheamus.
I mean, storyline wise, I like it because
I like it as a
in line with
if I'm
he
not-
is like the Messiah,
yeah.
and he used to talk about sacrificing greater good.
If we
falls
not
in line with his character, so I did like that. But
if we didn't know the behind the scenes, if we didn't know the behind the scenes, that would be that's fire. I agree. If we didn't know what the fuck was going on in personal shit, then that's fire. But I don't know, like, I don't know. It could go both ways, bro. It could go both. But at least throw a punch or something, Seth. Come on, man. Then what was the point? Then you could have gave that spot to anybody, man. That's another L I gotta get. Like, you could have gave that to anybody else. Then there was no point for if you granted him to fucking go home and take some time off to be with his wife. Then why you put him in the match in the first place? You could have put.
I feel like if he is getting written off, and that was the reasoning behind it, I feel like they should have just let Murphy take his place.
Something.
What's gonna happen, or Murphy added to the team to further that rivalry between them two.
Yeah,
I feel like they should have let Murphy take his spot. But we'll have a future story if he is getting written off to take some time. We'll have a future story in that,
Yeah.
But
I was thinking about something else too. Like, I heard another podcast's review on it. They were like that because they predicted like 2-3 months or something, maybe the Rumble, maybe a little bit after the Rumble, he comes back. They were saying that when he comes back, that he might change back into the architect. Like, that would be a good pot for like the Rumble, like a surprise entrance, since he's going to be gone for a couple more. How you feel about that? Like, he comes back, burn it down, and then you know what I mean?
I don't want him to go back to the old Seth Rollins. It was stale. If he's gonna drift away from this gimmick, I want it to be a storyline reason
that he goes
drifting away, because it's a year. His character is now officially a year. It started last year at Survivor Series.
Yeah, facts.
When Team Raw lost to NXT, and they got pretty much slaughtered because SmackDown was in second place.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So, Seth went off on Raw, and he was the champion. He had just gave the belt up recently, but he was the team leader of matter of fact, he was the champion at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
For last year's Survivor.
Last year
was the 5-on-5-on-5s, right? When everything was triple threat.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he was the champion or not.
Was he in that match? Because last year was who was the champ? Not see, I literally just watched it last week too. I'm wilding.
Well, he was representing the leadership of Raw he was the key superstar. I know that was sometime that was after his feud with the Fiend, so I don't think he was the champion at that time, but
yeah, because Hell in the Cell was right before that.
He was still in that position that he was the key player of Raw. So he changed his whole gimmick, being pissed off at everybody, and then he started with the Disciples, which didn't really succeed because of the fact that AOP got injured. They lost AOP. Then they brought up Austin Theory. Austin Theory got caught in the what movement that was again? Speaking Out. Speaking Out. We actually did an episode on it. Go check that on any podcast provided platforms. We're on all of them. So check Kayfabe Avenue out. But it messed up his whole stable. So
yeah, AOP disappeared.
But
then they got hurt, and then later on they got released.
Yeah, I bring that up because it's a full circle. So it was a storyline reason for even creating this gimmick. So I want it to be storyline reason why he gets set straight or he sees the error of his ways, whatever the case may be. Somebody needs to be the reason for that. So,
but yeah, that story wise, that was dope. You know what I mean? Yo, go be with your wife.
Strowman ends up like tagging himself in when Rollins, after that whole Rollins sacrifices up, runs through the entire Team SmackDown is on the side after Rollins eliminated himself.
But yeah, shout out to Kevin Owens. When Rollins got rolled out the ring, Kevin Owens jumped down and he went right to his face. He's like, "Yo, you always be a piece of trash." He said that bad loud. He was like, "That's why you always a piece of trash."
Yeah. So they're all like strategizing, and Strowman just comes around and runs through all the entire team. So that was pretty cool. I had that in my notes.
That was fire. Yeah.
Then we got that Keith Lee versus Otis we touched on. KO. I didn't really like the way KO got done. He comes in, stuns everybody
to sleep,
and then gets eliminated right after.
He put everybody to sleep. Who was it? Who eliminated? It was AJ, right, with the forearm. AJ hit him with the forearm.
Yeah, but I feel like they still don't got Kevin Owens right. He needs to drift away from doing the stunner. I don't like him doing it. I think it's Stone Cold when anybody does that move.
Yeah, of course.
You're not Stone Cold, you're Kevin Owens.
I like his pop-up powerbomb, but he can't do that shit to everybody. At least with the stunner, he could perform it on everybody. You know what I mean? But I love his pop-up powerbomb, his signature move. But
he needs to go back to that. He got so many moves in his arsenal.
No, we can't deny his in-ring ability. He's dope. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, shout out Kevin Owens. But at least you got your shit off on everybody.
Yeah, I guess. Then after that, we get Riddle taking out Corbin, ends up being 5-on-2. Then Jey Uso ends up being 5-on-1, and you got to give credit to Jey Uso, man. Like he held it down. He really tried to hold his own, against 5 people, but obviously that's not going to happen. The way Keith Lee took him out, though.
Yeah.
Tagged himself in. He's about to hit the splash on AJ Styles, I think it was.
Yeah.
Keith Lee comes in right under, catches him midair, throws him, spins him, catches him into the spirit ball.
Right into the spirit ball. Go to sleep.
Yo,
Keith Lee is dumb strong.
He's a beast.
See, he's dumb strong, man. That dude is eating Ukanuba with steroids or something like. My son is a beast.
Even though I feel, even though this was a complete squash, 5-0 in this particular match.
The match was fire though. Like the match
was great,
and the storytelling throughout the whole match
was great. So
that's the only thing that, you know what I mean.
This is how you book a sweep. This is how you book a sweep and make it fun, highlight the right people, and the whole story throughout the entire Raw paid off because, these guys, like I said, I knew it. They hated each other all month. So when they come together, they're going to finally be like, we have beef. We're going to destroy everybody.
It's showtime now. We're going to
and look at who was in that team, bro. Mountains.
All beasts besides AJ. That's why they were trying to shit on AJ. You know what I mean? Like,
he was the littlest guy in the whole bunch.
You know what I mean? Shout out Riddle. He caught an elimination on Corbin. He got his win back from last year. Because last year Corbin eliminated him. Shout out to Riddle.
I didn't even peep that.
Yeah, last year when he was at NXT, it was Corbin who eliminated him. So he got his win back this Survivor Series. Shout out Riddle.
So what do you rate the match? And what are your final thoughts as far as the match?
I give it a 8.5, 8, maybe a 9. If it wasn't a sweep, it would have been a 9. Like if they would have went back and forth.
I feel like Jey Uso should have at least eliminated the little guys like Matt and AJ.
And maybe AJ and make it a 3-on-1 or something.
Make it 3-on-1. The monsters are still in the ring, and then he lost. But the way they booked it still made him look strong.
Oh yeah, the booking throughout the whole match for everybody was fire. The in-ring psychology, the storytelling throughout everything. The arguing between both teams was funny. Like, Otis is always gonna be entertaining no matter what you put him in.
Otis was a good part of that match for
You know what I
SmackDown.
mean?
I will say, as far as SmackDown, the highlights to me were Jey Uso, obviously.
Yeah.
Otis had a good run, and the little spot with KO with the stunners. Other than that, Team Raw took it as far as spots and moments and storylines with them.
Yo, go back and watch that Shaman kid. He ain't even block it, bro. He didn't protect himself. He connected with that shit. Like I was like, oh man, like Sheamus took his head off like he was kicking a field goal, bro. But yeah, I'll give it an 8.5. I would have gave it a 9. You know what I mean? But 8.5. You can't get a 9 or a 10 if you're gonna body something. Like, people watch battle rap to see a fight. Nobody want to see somebody get destroyed. You feel me? So
it was a good destruction though. So I'd give that match a 9. Honestly, I enjoyed it.
You give it a 9? All right, that's fair.
But let's move on. Next matchup on the card, they did not slow down for anything. We had the New Day versus the Street Profits.
Yo,
I knew this was gonna be a classic.
Yo, shout out to the New Day too. They did like they showed that they're gonna be in the new Gears of War.
Gears of War. Yeah, they came out. Big E reunited with the New Day. When I initially when I saw it, I was like, ugh, like
this right now. But I was like, this is gonna be the turn.
Big E with these dudes again. Like,
I wanted to see the turn, man. I want him to be out in the ring front like he was with the New Day and turn on one of them, man. Like,
none of that happened.
Remember, we predicted that, but that ain't happened. But shout out them. They in the video game and they came out in the costume that they're gonna be wearing in the video game. So that's fire. Like, that's fire. I can't even get mad.
Came out big bulky armor. It was cool. And Big E did go to the back, so he didn't interfere in this match. He wasn't even in ringside. So it was really just to promote the Gears of War thing. And if it was just for that, then okay, I get it business-wise. But I don't want to see Big E mixing in every month, every chance he can be with his boys.
Yeah, he can chill with them.
No, man, you need to focus on yourself. There's a reason why you're split up.
The match though, woohoo! The
match was dope.
The back and forths, yo. Like, I don't even know spots off. I just know that they did so much shit.
Yeah, I didn't take too many notes on the actual match because I was just focused on.
There was so much action going on.
There was kickouts from finishes. We saw what's his name, Montez Ford hitting the frog splash, and Kofi
almost broke his own ribs doing that shit.
Yeah,
shout out Xavier. Xavier did a spot.
You know what? Shout out to Xavier, because Xavier's always been that guy that he was on the outside. He was in the manager role, and sometimes he'll be put in the match. Like, I'm actually glad that he's getting to stand out on his own.
And he got busy in this match too.
Well, not on his own because he's with Kofi, obviously, but stand out a little bit more, because I've always felt like Xavier Woods has potential to be Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, and he's looking
United
good.
States Champion, and possible future if that works out for him. I see the potential in him, and it's like all these guys got potential. I just don't want the New Day gimmick to like squander that. I want to see them. I don't want to see their whole careers given to this tag team.
And shout out to him because he just came back from a serious injury. He was gone for like almost a half a year, some stupid shit like that. And he came back. He looked like he ain't even missed a step. He ain't even missed a step, bro.
And they looking well. Xavier's bigger than he's ever been.
Yeah, he looked like he
shape
up too while he was sitting, and he went to work on them weight benches and shit. So shout out to him. He did a great showing. Yo, there was another spot that Dawkins did with Kofi that was like, yo, it was so much shit. Not like I gotta watch it again.
Yeah,
make it your business to watch it again.
Dawkins was actually pulling out moves I've never seen him do.
Yeah, like he did some shit. It was like a modified.
Dawkins is usually all the flash and pizzazz in the group, and Dawkins is usually just the hype man. But
muscle, yeah,
he was standing out on his own in this one.
He did a move on Kofi, like it was like it was like an underarm something, and then he did like it turned into like a modified net,
like a double arm.
net breaker type shit. That shit
Crossroads.
looked fire, yo.
It was like a lifting double arm crossroads.
like it was
Then his
crazy.
whole body and neck breaker them from
Fire.
the double arm. So
Fire.
that was dope. And they even said it. Have we even seen that before?
Yeah, like that shit was crazy. Like, you know what I mean? That was crazy. I was like, oh, I thought that was like that should be his new finisher now. Like, that should be like when he do solo matches, that should be the move he should go to. You feel me?
So
that shit is fire.
In our prediction show, we did say we saw the New Day probably taking it, but the Street Profits ended up winning. So
clean.
That was good. They won clean, no bullshit. Nobody turned on nobody. It was literally about respect. And, you know, the Street Profits was trying to turn up. And speaking about turning up, the promo before they
in the gorilla position
before they came out, I'm pretty sure if there was fans in that crowd, like real fans, they would have been going nuts. Like the energy Montez Ford has.
Yeah, that one was
fire. He's gonna be something special too. He is something special, honestly. You know, give him his flowers while he's.
Yeah, I forgot all about the promo was dope. Like the whole match, like that's probably a 9.5, yo. Like,
yeah, I definitely give that one a 9.
Like that one, I'm gonna go make it my business go run that whole thing back because they from the beginning they were on 100. Like they slow, it wasn't slow enough.
When you put New Day, you put the Usos, even Shane, the Bar when they were together. You put those guys. That's when WWE does tag team wrestling well, and when they do tag team wrestling well, they potentially are the best, product of tag team wrestling.
Right.
Because, on the other side, I don't want to make this a show about the other side, but the other side, they do tag team wrestling, they book tag team wrestling really well, but they forget a lot of the rules and the packaging and, focusing on cameras and, doing all that.
But see, in that is sometimes you could have a thing where it's too many high spots and then like moderated. Like this one, it looked like it just flowed together. It was very fast paced, but it flowed together. They both did a great job, and it's like, yo, this is like a 9.5 for me, maybe a 10. I gotta go back and watch it again, but
and you give it a 10.
It might be the first 10 of the year.
Stars out here like Melsa.
I haven't gave nobody a 10 this whole year. This might be it.
I haven't give anybody a 10.
The only other match that I might give a 10 is remember the tournament for the Intercontinental with AJ and Daniel Bryan, that one-on-one they had for the belt?
Yeah.
That was like another 10. I might. You know what I mean? I might have to go back.
Well, January is right around the corner. December's
that match and this match might be the match.
So we'll have a couple end of year wrap up stuff and potentially an end of year cookout episode. So we'll get into all that.
Yeah, but definitely.
But as far as this match, it is a classic between these two. I want to. The thing is, they're separated by shows, so we won't see part 2 for a long time. It made me really want to see this match again.
Let me ask you a question though. See, the New Day is mixed up with the Hurt Business. So they have, what the fuck does Street Profit have on SmackDown going? Like, because their whole story for the past month since they won the belts, well, they traded, whatever, has been just talking shit to the New Day. Now they don't have nothing to do over there right now. Like who?
I mean,
Miz Morrison again? Like, what are we doing?
Is still in a state of rebuilding. Really, the only tag team that they have is Shinsuke Cesaro over there. Everybody who else is left over there? They have Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode.
Like what? So they
really want to see that?
Yeah, man. They're not gonna put like they need a team over there that could, unless Jimmy come back. You know what I mean? And it's the Usos and the Street Profits. I really don't see nobody going for them that's gonna put on 5 matches like this. They should have just, I don't know, but it is what it is. That's all I'm saying. I know the New Day, they at least got something to go back to tonight, you know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
Street Profits, all they're gonna do is just keep talking shit about the New Day, and then see him at the Rumble when they are both in the ring in the Rumble. Yeah, that doesn't mean that. We already know y'all not gonna go to WrestleMania as singles competitors.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I mean, I don't know.
But yeah, that's what
they need to build up more tag teams. They've been focusing a lot on the heavyweight division and the mid card on SmackDown. I think they're starting to try to build up the women's division a little bit.
A little
as
better,
far as
yeah.
storyline wise. But yeah, the tag team division is something that has been lacking on SmackDown.
Yeah.
They need to refocus on that. So I agree with you on that. But
We need to give them somebody serious.
in closing for that segment, yeah, go out your way, go see that match. It was
Hell yeah.
classic. And I definitely want to see more from them. So let's move on from that.
Yes, sir. What you gave it? I gave it a 9.5. You gave it a 9?
A 9. I gave it a 9.
All right.
The next matchup is Sami Zayn versus Bobby Lashley, Intercontinental Champion versus United States Champion. What are your thoughts?
Yo, damn it, Sane. Damn it. I was rooting for you, bro. It's like he ain't even getting no offense in, yo. Apollo was just washing him the whole match, bro. Like, the whole match, he was running away. Then he was getting fucked with the Hurt Business outside. Why was they outside, though? Like, you know what I mean? He was complaining every 2 seconds to the ref. I don't know, man. It was how long was it? I think it was only like 7-10 minutes. It wasn't even a long match. Like, that shit was just quick.
It was quick because it was pretty much we had the entire Hurt Business out there. They weren't even doing nothing, but this conspiracy-minded.
They was just fucking with him, talking shit every time.
He's trying to get himself disqualified. You know, he's trying to get them to disqualify Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, like
he's reaching at all of them. They're laughing at him like, "Yo, we're not even doing anything to you, bro."
We just chilling, like
yeah.
like,
Chilling. Eventually, MVP does throw him back in the ring, leading to Bobby Lashley finishing.
He did like a fake trip on MVP. They try to get MVP kicked out.
Yeah, he was like, "You saw."
That was funny. That was funny though.
What made me laugh was Corey Graves on commentary. I seen it.
Yeah. After the match.
You saw that ref. He brings the ref, and the ref is, inside the ring looking. He's like, "No,
his match is over already."
To him, it's not valid. Corey's like, "This is a conspiracy. I saw it with my own eyes." Yeah, that was definitely funny. I like Sami Zayn.
I like Sami, man, but they I don't know, man. That was.
You know what it is? They need to give him a legitimate rivalry right now.
Yeah,
something that we could see lasting for a while.
I don't want him to go back to Jeff Hardy.
Praying, as much as the matches will be good, I'm praying it's not Kevin Owens. I'm tired of every time they don't know what to do with Sami or Kevin, they throw them with each other, or throw them against each other.
And I don't want it to be Jeff either. We already saw that with him and AJ Lee. So
Styles.
Yeah, I'm bugging, yo.
Shout out to AJ Lee, though. I miss you too.
Come back. We need you right now. Come back. AJ Styles, I don't want to see that rivalry again. We just saw. Well, AJ is now on Raw, so Jeff is still on SmackDown, but
no, Jeff is on Raw now.
Oh yeah, so so then who the fuck can he go with? Right
I think Cedric Alexander. No, excuse me, not Cedric. Apollo Crews.
Oh yeah. He was mixing it up with Apollo a couple weeks.
Apollo's over there. I don't know, man. I feel like SmackDown doesn't have a big roster.
They have. They're not focusing on everybody. I think they're just focusing on Roman shit right now.
It is. I mean, to be real, that's been the best.
It is. Though. It's like, yo, you got to give everybody else bird too. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, they definitely do. So they definitely need to start building. You know what? Everybody who's been in this Jey Uso story, it might be Jey Uso.
Why not? Let him.
Give Jey Uso an IC run before his brother comes, and he'll show the head of the table
that I could sit here.
That he can sit with him. Like, oh, you got a belt now, Us? You can sit. You can eat some steak. That filet mignon we cooking. You know what I mean? You can eat some of that now. Before you was the kiddie table, you had no titles.
You eat Happy Meals. Now you can eat some filet mignon. You know what I mean? With the crab legs.
So, I mean, that's probably
that's a good That would be good.
And that's a story that could continue for a while, you know?
Yeah.
So,
all right, go ahead.
We'll see. We'll see from that.
Oh, I give it like a.
Just for how funny it was pretty.
I'll give it a 7.5.
I'm thinking the same, like a 7.
Because he ain't put no offense in. He was just running away the whole fight.
He was just running away, running out the ring, talking shit to every member of the Hurt Business.
Complaining, like, come on.
Complaining, but it was entertaining to watch, though. I will give him that.
Yeah, I love Sammy, man, but come on, Sammy. We need to do better, man. Yo. Sammy lives matter or something, man. We gotta start protesting.
So we leave that matchup with a 7. Bobby Lashley wins with the Hurt Lock. Before we get on to the rest of the card and the rest of the happenings of Survivor Series, let's take a quick break.
Yes, sir.
And listen to our sponsors, the people who keep the lights on, keep this train moving, and we'll be right back after these messages. And we're back, and we left off with Sammy versus Bobby Lashley, with Bobby winning with the Hurt Lock. Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring us during those commercial breaks. So moving on, I have to mention this. Roman Reigns is becoming God level promo.
Bro.
He's God tier right now.
The believability, like, I thought he was gonna just slap him like, yo, you lost, yo. You lost.
Jay
I thought he was gonna punch him in his face.
So for context, Jey Uso is backstage and he's looking at Paul Heyman like, I know Roman is pissed the fuck off. You see Roman in the distance inside his locker room pacing pretty much.
Yeah.
He comes out and he's like, what are you doing here? Jay starts, my team, they wasn't listening. They wasn't, I was trying my best. It was 5 of them against me. And he's like, you making excuses, Oos. Like, they don't listen to you because they don't respect you. They don't respect you because they don't fear you, Oos.
Thanks.
When they don't fear you, they don't fear me. And when they don't fear me, the head of the table, they don't fear my family. They don't respect my family.
They don't respect our family. Yo, that shit gave me chills when I saw that shit.
Roman, bro.
That shit gave me chills. Gave me chills. I'm like, yo, he's about to slap him any minute.
I thought he really was gonna smack him.
Like, yo, just slap him, like, yo, smack him, and then Uso will eat it, and then Uso will just walk away, like, yo, make them fear you now, something like that. I thought that's
so, even Jimmy shows up.
Yeah, Jimmy popped up.
He's trying to tell Roman, like, chill, cut him some slack. And he's like, I'm not talking to you. Like, you can leave.
Like, what? Yeah,
you can leave. No, he can't leave. He can't leave. He gotta stay.
Like,
you could go.
He was like, yo, Oos, let's get out of here, man. Like, fuck this guy. He's talking crazy to you. Let's go, bro. Oos, like, what's good? And then he just walked away. And then Roman was like, yo, why are you still here? Like, go with your brother. You and your brother pack your shit, get out my arena. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? Don't even stay here. Get out my arena. Go with your brother. Get out of here. I don't have time to deal with losers.
Sunned him, yo.
Roman is the fucking truth.
He sunned him in that promo.
Why haven't they let this man unleash his personality alone?
Yo, 4 years late, bro. 4 years late with this shit. Yeah, 4 years late.
Time ago. That's all you needed to do. Even his matches are better because the way he talk shit in his match.
Like, yo.
He his mannerisms, the way he's like laughing. Like,
in the ring and everything. Like, 4 years late, yo. This is what we wanted.
Good promo. I had to mention that in the notes. I know we running through matches. Fire. I had to mention that promo. It was fire as hell. That storyline, I can't wait till The Rock, if possible, gets involved in that.
That's where it comes into
Roman versus Rock for the head of the table.
Imagine that just that segment with The Rock still got it.
The Rock,
you know what I mean?
Like, whoa.
He gonna talk his shit.
I'm the head of the table.
He gonna talk his shit.
For the millions. Like they're gonna.
You the little nephew. You baby cousin.
You baby Oos.
Like, yo, I can't wait for that promo.
I'm at least 2 generations before you, bro. Like
watch your mouth.
I'm the only millionaire doing moves. I'm in Hollywood.
I'm excited for that.
They trying to make me president soon. Like, come on.
I'm excited for that. So, but yeah, I hope that's where it's leading to, where they.
I hope so too. But Roman is just approaching God. If he's not there, he's approaching God level.
Starting to step the game up.
Promo work.
Way up. Way
He's
up.
hitting the dusties. He's
Yeah,
starting to hit the dust,
when
the
he was
hard times.
that little break he took, he went to go watch all of the Dusties, all the Dusty promo
So
classes. He
let,
took
let's
all
let's move on that note. Go
fire
back and
promo.
watch that promo. But next up, we got Asuka versus Sasha, champion versus champion,
Yep.
Raw Women's Champion versus SmackDown Women's Champion. What do you think about this match?
Great match. We've seen it millions of times. And they ran through their same spots. There was one spot though that was fire that I think Sasha was on the top rope or something. She was trying to do like her knee. What's her move?
They were on the corner of the barricade. She
Yeah,
tried to
and
do the
Asuka
Meteora.
caught her and put her, the Meteora, and Asuka put her right into the lock. I was like,
No, that was the second time. The first time she tried to hit a Meteora off of the barricade, and
yeah.
and Asuka caught her into like a code breaker.
Yeah, so that was
That was pretty low.
the
This is the
reverse
thing.
was fire from Asuka.
This is the thing. These women have the potential to give us a classic, and I feel like every time they've wrestled, they haven't.
They haven't.
And
I also want to point out, not to cut you off, brother. I read some shit earlier. This is Sasha Banks' first win on Asuka. Asuka was 4-0.
Yeah.
4-0 out of Sasha. So this is Sasha finally got at least one off on Asuka. Asuka beat her every time they faced each other on a one-on-one tip. So that I just wanted to throw that in there. You know what I mean? That's an important stat.
I was happy that Sasha won. Sasha Banks won this match.
She deserved it.
Won clean. I'm glad she won because they need to start legitimizing her as a champion.
Yeah.
She's a 4 horsewoman. She's a, innovator of the division. She's, somebody that a lot of the women look up to as far as match quality and standards outside of a Charlotte, outside of a Becky, and now Bailey, who's been in like her best year ever. Like, they need to elevate her as a champion. I feel like this was a step in doing that. It doesn't hurt Asuka because Asuka's super dominant.
Asuka's Asuka.
It helps Asuka. I'm still waiting for this classic match between them.
Yeah.
This was a 7 to me.
It was, I felt like it was like...
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
I felt like we've seen it a million times before, besides the other little reversal that Asuka... Like, there wasn't too many spots that was new. We've seen it millions of times before, standard regular.
Working Asuka's style, you have to give the hits and take the hits. This was supposed to be hard-hitting. This was supposed to be technical. This was Sasha Banks' chance to showcase, I never needed Bailey. Yeah. I never needed the cheap tactics. I never needed to be a heel to win a champion or a championship or to legitimize myself as a champion. I don't see the classic match between her and Asuka. Who else outside of Bailey? They've had classics together, but we don't want to see that matchup no more. Carmella's not going to give you a classic.
We've seen that a million. We've seen Asuka put a classic with Charlotte, Becky, and Bailey. And who else? She had one in NXT with Ember Moon. You know what I mean? So it's like she hasn't done it. Well, Zelina Vega's gone, but she ain't put a classic with Asuka. It was like another stand. I'll give it a 7-2. I felt like it was just a standard regular match that they did millions of times before. You know what I mean? Besides a couple of little reversals from the hot spots, Meteoras that Asuka did to Sasha. I thought those were dope, but it was like everything else was just like they were basically like you could tell with somebody just running through their spots in their head. Like, okay, so the next spot we over here. So like we felt like maybe they just don't have no regular no good chemistry. I'm not saying that they trash it, but that could be a thing too. Like sometimes you're not gonna have that chemistry with a certain person, even though y'all both dope wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like it was just a regular standard one-on-one. It didn't feel like it was a big fight feel or nothing. You know what I mean? So I'll give it a 7 as well, bro.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.
What we got next?
So next up on the card was the Raw versus SmackDown Women's Survivor Series traditional matchup with Lana, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, who else was it?
AC
Peyton
Evans
Royce,
and Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans for Raw. And on SmackDown, we had the Riot Squad, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Natalia, Bailey, and Bianca Belair.
Shout out Peyton Royce. She actually did
Changed up her whole look.
Like
She was actually fighting really good.
She did great moves. Like she was fighting all of them. Like shout out, like I saw improvement. I was watching. I'm like, oh shit! Like she.
You know what it is? Her style as a iconic was that prissy. I can't get too rough in the ring. I'm gonna win.
We pretty girls. And this one she got dirty.
So this one she was doing spinning kicks and doing a bunch of combinations.
Like that. That's the thing I noticed.
This match was actually pretty good, and it held its own. I'll go out and straight say it. This was probably up there with the men's match. I'll give this probably an 8.5.
I'll give it an 8.5.
Like 8.5, probably leaning towards a 9, but 8.5 because I saw the ending coming, and I predicted it on our prediction show. I thought it was gonna happen in a slightly different way, but it happened.
Yeah, Lana took it. Shout out Lana.
Lana ended up winning the Survivor Series match
for Raw. I'm like, how you get
won by doing absolutely nothing.
They put her on. She tagged herself in. I think it was Nia Jax. She tagged herself in on Nia Jax. She got off like one kick or something, and then she came. And then Nia called her back over to the corner, tagged herself back in the match, and said, "Yo, you gotta plant your ass right there on them steps and not fucking move." Yeah. I'm like, "Yo," when they were all outside. Remember when Peyton Royce did the suplex to everybody outside, and everybody was there. I'm like, "Yo, Lana, do something. Like, go help your team."
Lana was literally the whole match.
She looked paranoid. She had lipstick running down her face.
Yeah.
She was scared to death. She was like, "Yo, if
I'm looking forward to Raw and how they continue that storyline because I've been laughing at this storyline.
Like,
you got 9 tables through the past 2 months, 9 tables, and I said it. They're not gonna put through all those tables, and there's no payoff to that.
Payoff, yeah.
So I said she's gonna be the sole survivor somehow, some way, or she's gonna screw Raw over. Yeah. So what ended up happening? The last 3 was pretty much Bianca Belair. Well, the last 4, we completely forgot about Lana at this point. The last 4 was Bianca Belair sole surviving for SmackDown.
Yeah, and Nia Jax.
The women's tag team champions, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and then Lana outside the ring. We have Shayna Baszler putting Bianca Belair in the sleeper hold.
Yeah.
I forgot what's her variation called.
The Coquina Clutch.
The Coquina Clutch. Puts her in that. Bianca crawls and passes out on the rope.
Yeah.
So since Shayna Baszler didn't let go, she got disqualified and eliminated.
After the 5 count. And Bianca was asleep.
Bianca's asleep. Nia Jax comes in. Now Bianca's holding her own against Nia Jax. Lifts Nia Jax over the fucking barricade. This girl is strong as hell.
Oh yeah, yo. God bless her. They
end up both counted out, both eliminated, and Lana is the sole survivor having done nothing.
Yeah.
The entire
I think she's doing like just one punch or something.
She's crying. She's like, "Thank you. I'm a survivor."
She was so happy.
I'm a survivor. Yo, she thought she was Destiny's Child.
Nia looked like she was about to go in the ring, and then the ref was holding her back.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm putting this. She won for us right now, but I'm putting her through a damn table
right now." Like, yo, Nia was pissed. So, Bianca was like frustrated. She was like, "What the hell?" Like, oh man,
match. I enjoyed.
That was funny. That was the match. But there was a lot of good wrestling in here. Also shout out Liv Morgan. She did some shit with Peyton that was like, I forgot what she did. She did something else that was kind of dope. They stepping their game up. Peyton Royce and Liv Morgan, they really stepped their in-ring ability up. Like they've been improving these past couple of months. Yeah. So shout out Liv Morgan. Shout out. I ain't like the way Shayna Baszler just put my girl Ruby Riott to sleep like that, yo. Like I ain't like that one.
I
Ruby
mean,
ain't get the tap or nothing. Like she
I
went to
think it's
sleep.
because when they look at Ruby Riott, they see Peter Avalon,
Like,
and
come on, man. We
it
got
hurts
can't,
them.
we can't be doing that to Ruby. Great overall match though. All the girls got shine. All the girls got busy. All the girls got busy. Besides Lana, everybody did they shit. So yeah, I definitely agree with a 9. Like
Yeah, that was a night. The women showed out overall tonight. Well, last night it was a good show. I can't wait for Raw. So let's move on to the main event for the head of the table for the position
for the filet
of the
mignon.
face of WWE. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, Universal Champion versus WWE Champion, and this was a 9. This was another 9.
I would say this. I thought in the beginning it was a little slow because I saw there was a lot of time left. The storytelling.
It was a little slow, but
in the beginning.
That's Roman's new style. Everything Roman is doing is pulling the crowd in,
talking shit,
his mannerisms. He's doing what Hulk Hogan was doing.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan didn't have the moves. He wasn't the best wrestler in the ring. He could really wrestle, but he wasn't the best. He wasn't the best technically. But what made him the best was the theatrics, bringing the crowd in, making you absorbed into the story. And Roman is at the top of his game doing that right now. So the slow, methodical build up. Then they started clashing.
And they really got like
it was. And
it was like 5 minutes.
One-upsmanship. Anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah.
Like, Drew holding his own, the face off. I'm telling you, this gives me Rock versus Austin feel. Triple H versus Rock, Triple H versus Austin. It gives me that feeling again.
But yeah, it was definitely 5. Like I said, I just feel like it dragged like a good 5-7 minutes. But then when they picked up, they were doing the forced finishes, had me on my seat. I'm like, fucking, he put him in the guillotine. Drew McIntyre's another strong guy too. Yeah. He was down on the floor on the guillotine, and he still got himself up while Roman was still holding him, yo. Like, he's dumb strong. That's a lot. You gotta have back strength like a motherfucker.
He made Roman look like a smaller guy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, shout out Drew.
Saying something.
Yeah, shout out Drew, man. Like, the great match.
What I did appreciate about the match, and what was my concern going in, because when Drew McIntyre faces these big opponents, and recently Roman, when he faces big opponents, they go into the 2, 3, 4, 5 finishes is over.
Yeah.
They actually wrestled.
Yeah, they wrestled. So, no, definitely, they did wrestle. They wrestled.
Them slowing down, and then
picking up when it was time to. And
I loved that aspect of the match. And then we have Jey Uso come back out. He's trying to make people fear him. Ends up super kicking the hell out of Drew McIntyre. Roman low blows Drew Mac. Ends up, stealing the victory away. But storyline, action. Roman comes off as the bigger heel. Drew McIntyre comes off as the bigger face.
Yep.
Drew lost, but he looked great in defeat.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Roman won, and he looked great coming out, as his character. It worked on every level.
Hell yeah.
This pay-per-view top to bottom, honestly, was a good show.
Hell yeah.
Storylines, they paid off a lot of storylines in great ways. And the thing is, these type of pay-per-views people are often concerned about because it's like just thrown together randomly because it's
the matches. Yeah.
And I was concerned because there was no invasions really like that.
Yeah.
COVID-19 restricted a lot of that shit.
But I respect that. Like at least I could say that every match was clean. It was clean. Like maybe it was like little bullshit, like you know what I mean. But I guess the Apollo and then with Jimmy, it's like the only 2 interferences. I'm not Apollo, the Bobby Lashley with the Hurt Business, but that wasn't really too much. That was just Sammy being Sammy. But this is probably like the only interference. We ain't seen no other storylines from other feuds that's going on interfere with every other match that was good. So I
The
respect
Miz,
it
the
a lot.
Miz didn't show up. The Miz didn't even
Nobody
cash
did
in.
nothing.
It
Nobody
was
did nothing.
straightforward matches. It was a great show overall.
Yeah.
So I give this a 9. Like I said, I loved it. Go back and watch the show in general. It was really good, really worth the watch.
Hell yeah. Don't forget at the end. Yeah, don't forget at the end.
Off
Go ahead.
with Undertaker's final farewell.
Hold up. Before we go there, see, I want to throw this in there too. Remember at the end, Jimmy and Roman was at the top, right? And then that's when Roman, like they stared each other down, and then Roman finally gave him his eye. Okay, what's up?
Yeah.
And then he hugged him, and then that's when he threw the title up. Yo, Paul Heyman, like, then why are you here now? Like, like, do we need you now?
Yes. Paul Heyman is the package. He elevates people.
He does.
He barely ever fails. The only person in my current memory he failed with
Alexander.
was Cesaro.
It's Curtis Axel.
And Curtis Axel. That's the only two. And Cesaro wasn't even a fail. WWE doesn't want to push Cesaro for some reason. But I don't understand. He's one of the best they have there.
That's what I'm saying. He's a great worker. I
always say like literally elevates everyone he's around. Roman wasn't the full package until Heyman showed up. Gave him that little, oh shit, he's with Heyman. Then we started getting interested in the tribal chief, the new way he cuts promos, the mannerisms. I mean, he's the full package. Heyman definitely brought his stock up.
But yeah, that was definitely.
But yeah, Jey Uso ended up finally getting some credit from the tribal chief. Yeah. So maybe he'll get to sit at the table with him. He's not in his section no more.
Yeah.
But he capped off Survivor Series with the final farewell, of the Undertaker, and the prediction show. We was like, is this really the end? Like, I can't believe this is the end. Like, and that was my sentiment watching the entire time. Like, it's not over. It's not over.
Nah,
it's not over. I literally waited until he walked all the way back and the credits for me to actually take in, like, yo, Undertaker retired just now. Like,
that's a wrap.
Really done. That shit was a lot to take in, honestly. But I feel they dropped the ball, and I'm going to just be honest.
Why?
It was a trash send-off.
Nah. That segment, like
you had 10 minutes. You had 10 minutes of just entrances.
Yeah, mad people coming in. But that why were they there for? Like, nobody.
None of them interacted with the Undertaker. Not one of them.
Like, they just was showing, like, they were just there to just.
It was basically to remind us, these were the Bone Street crew.
He had a classic with him.
Bone Street crew.
He had a classic with him.
He brought Jeff Hardy out because Jeff Hardy had a classic and got recognized more because of Taker. And Kane came out because he's the brother.
Obviously.
Triple H, Shawn Michaels came out because they're WrestleMania matches. Ric Flair because they're Mania matches.
Savio Vega. Shout out Savio. Nah, my son Savio was there.
Savio Vega, because he's part of the Bone Street crew. You know, the group of friends Undertaker had in the locker room.
Yeah.
So
shout out Savio.
I would understand if they would have stood in the ring. We would have saw that amazing career package that they showed.
Yeah.
Undertaker did his whole entrance, said what he said. They all gave him respect. Even if they weren't in the ring, stay on the side.
Or something. I'll go back up to the
ramp.
Go up to the reps. And
go to the top of the ramp. Something. For real. Watch Undertaker do this. Make it meaningful that y'all guys just spent 10 entrances and like 15 minutes worth of entrances. Okay. That's what I didn't like about it.
That's the only complaint. That's the only complaint on it.
That's my complaint. They cut out. They go to once Kane is the last person in. Which who the fuck ribbed Kane?
Why is he in wrestling?
Who told Kane he had to come full gear?
Yeah, like he could have just.
Everybody's in a suit
or a suit or something. He would have been chilling. Why?
Bro, we've already seen corporate Kane. We've already seen corporate Kane.
Like,
you did not have to come.
This man is a mayor, yo. Like, he's a mayor
I feel like somebody put a joke on Kane. And he came in and he looked like he was confused a little bit. Like every motherfucker in here is in a suit or some regular ass clothes, and here I am in
He
a
brought his
full
wrestling
outfit.
gear. He brought, instead of bringing just a regular suit,
But
he came in full gear.
they cut from that. They show that amazing package, and when the package is done, everybody's gone. The only person that's in the ring is Vince McMahon, who is looking his age. Well,
Yeah.
I gotta
And
say
he
that
sounded it like he tried to do the Undertaker. He ain't even sound the same. You know what I mean? Like
Vince needs to vacation. It's time, Vince. You know, you the grandfather of wrestling, the godfather of wrestling. We get it.
but
It's time for you to have a vacation and enjoy the rest of your years,
I'm
man.
gonna say one thing though, that I could see the sincerity in his eyes, like it was hurting him. Like, damn, I'm about to lose one of my main attractions. You know what I mean? Like the way he was talking about him, and just the looking at like he didn't look like he was happy or was in a celebration mood. He looked like he was like, damn, yo, like this shit is sad.
No, Vince looked like he was holding back
Tears and shit.
tears
He
because
loved,
if
he
you
loved
watch
them.
that last ride documentary series,
Yeah.
there was a part where Vince was asked about Undertaker and he had to stop the interview.
He
'Cause was
loved him
about to
like
start
that's his
crying.
own son, yo. He loves the Undertaker. Like Mark Calloway,
Because
he loves Mark Calloway.
if it wasn't for Undertaker, WCW probably would have won.
Yeah.
WWE wouldn't be the staple it is without Undertaker. Undertaker was a big piece of that.
Oh yeah. So he loved so that's what it looked like. It looked like he was fighting tears. He looked like he was hurt. Like he was like, damn, man.
We really did. But we got, pretty much Vince sending him off and introing Undertaker. Undertaker comes out, does his thing. Now, my other complaint is we had all of this, and literally all we got was Taker standing there for 10 minutes and says, now it's time for, I've laid a lot of souls down.
Yeah, I put a lot of people.
Put a lot of souls down, or whatever he said. And now it's time for me to let the Undertaker rest in peace. That was it.
Yo,
He lifted him on a platform that was way too high above the ring. I was wondering what the fuck he's gonna do, climb down off this shit?
Like it was, and then the fucking thank you Taker, they OD'd with that shit. Like they kept running that back every 2 minutes. Then it would go to a fake chair. Then it would go back to a thank you Taker.
It sounds good for the most part, considering it's the Thunderdome. But not having
it was a little annoying
there,
after a while. It was a little annoying.
Not having fans there, like it sucked it out. But overall, I feel like the greatest part of it, and this is why I did appreciate the biggest part. I appreciated is when Undertaker gives the knee, puts his hand up, and we see the hologram of Paul Bearer
holding the urn.
And does his
that was fire. That was.
It gave me chills, bro. That point,
fire.
As a fan, as somebody who's been watching Undertaker the majority of my life, that was the part that moved me. I was like, wow, like I was on the verge of like getting a little watery, like, oh shit, he's actually like, this is it. Like
this is it. This is
Taker
fire.
is gone after this.
Like I said,
he's gone in ring, and probably, personality wise, we probably won't see him play the dead man ever again. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a lot more interviews.
Yeah,
him involved, some way backstage on the WWE network. But
I said I see him probably doing little interruptions, choke slam here, and I'm out. Like I could deal with that.
At this point, I don't think he should do any physical activity in the ring.
At all.
I think he should just stick to documentaries and like videos about history of WWE and his own experiences and stuff. Yeah. If they're gonna bring him back to TV in a general manager, somebody, a position of power or something like that he's like respected, maybe something like that I could see. But I'm telling you, it was until he walked backstage and the credits roll, I was like, all right, the Fiend is gonna come out of something.
That's when they hit you.
The Fiend is gonna come out of something. Like, it's not over. This is a swerve. They're gonna Mark Henry swerve us on this.
It's a wrap.
They did it. It's over officially. So Thank you, Taker, for a 30-year plus career. Kayfabe wouldn't even really exist if it wasn't for people like the Undertaker. So
one of the greatest characters ever created, yo. Like his legacy is gonna be 100 years from now. Like people still gonna be probably talking about Taker forever.
oh, he's immortalized. He's
Officially.
they just finished finishing his hat on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Like that man he's God status in wrestling.
Good right now, you know what I mean? They always gonna talk about Taker forever. Our kids, we always gonna let them know, like, nah, the Undertaker was that dude.
This is the example of great storytelling. This is the example of great character work.
You know what I mean? And
when you ask what kayfabe means, we'll show you a picture of the Undertaker.
for real.
Like,
yeah.
Any final thoughts on Survivor Series and the farewell of Taker before we get out of here?
We covered most of it. Overall, I would give it a 8. There was a lot of 9s in there, like that. The tag matches, go back, watch that. Watch the Roman and Drew McIntyre match. Those are the 2 standouts for me. And the promo that Roman did, definitely the standout. Oh, shout out to Gobbledygooker.
The Gobbledygooker, word.
He took the
24/7 championship.
He made an appearance.
He got rolled up later on in the night, but that's history right there. Gobbledygooker comes back, wins the championship. Like,
all about him.
20 years later.
Shout out to Gobbledygooker. You know what I mean? But dope all the way around. And can't complain. I had too much to complain. You know what I mean?
I agree with your score. I'll leave it at an 8.5. We had a lot of 9s.
A lot of 9s.
The other matches kind of brought it down. That we're so high up there, but great story, great character work. Farewell, Undertaker. But we can do this all day. And with that being said, EA, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at E.A. I'm also in the Facebook group, Kayfabe Avenue Facebook group. Like, comment, subscribe. You see all our shit up there. We on all of that. And leave us some, you know what I mean, what you want us to talk about. Give us some opinions, some suggestions. We all for it.
Yep. So you can find me. Yeah, send that hate mail off to EA.
I handle the hate mail.
He handles all the hate mail. You can find me at the Kayfabe Avenue on Instagram. You like EA said, collectively, you can find us at Kayfabe Avenue on Facebook, Twitter. Find the visual versions of our podcast on YouTube. Yep. And we're on all podcast streaming providers, Apple, Spotify, Anchor, just to name a few. So, click that subscribe, click that link. And speaking of subscribing, if you love the podcast, click on the support link on Anchor, click on that support link on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the podcast, donate what you can so we can keep this Kayfabe Avenue train going, and we'll provide you creative content. We'll keep it flowing, keep it pumping for you guys. I have been Kayfabe AJ. That was E.A. This has been Kayfabe Avenue, and this was the Survivor Series review show. Austin, take us home.
That's the bottom line. Why? Because old Stone Cold said so. Thank you very much, you son of a bitch.